So these 4 New Zealand success stories each have a young entrepreneur at the helm. 3 out of the 4 of them have had significant valuations before making profit, and all of them have been astute in their use of the New Zealand capital markets. NZX is the one I know best. We eat our own cooking. We listed on our own market about 9 years ago, and that's provided tremendous benefits for us. Profile, branding, credibility in the early days, acquisition currency, and importantly, a mechanism by which we could reward our staff and align their interests with the long-term interests of our shareholders. We've invested some of our capital in improving local infrastructure, but also we've embraced global opportunities where we've seen them as potentially transformative. We've had some real successes and we've had a couple of failures. We've learnt from those. Our current global initiative is the development from scratch of a successful operation of the now leading dairy derivatives platform. These are milk powder contracts that we run from New Zealand, and we're tremendously proud of that. It's a great example of using New Zealand's competitive edge in world dairy trade and data to build a business of global scale with a centre of excellence right here. We launched in the 3rd quarter of last year, and already we have outpaced the 3 other exchanges which offer similar products globally. And they are a multiple of our size and a multiple of our financial resources. And in doing this, we're building a much needed bridge between the rural sector and the New Zealand capital markets. Our markets and infrastructure have helped Xero get the oxygen it needs. Market heavyweights, today's market heavyweights like Infratil, started in much the same way. Success breeds success, and so the question for us is, how do we generate another 100 or better still 1,000 Xeros? Small companies are relevant to us here in New Zealand, more so than elsewhere. Even a $500 million Israeli tech company looking to list on NASDAQ struggles to get attention and analyst coverage. You matter here and you'll be noticed. Liquidity on our markets, buy-sell spreads, analyst attention, the rule set is right-sized. Our facilities are more than competitive with those that are available offshore. A company with poor prospects won't succeed in attracting capital wherever it's listed. There's also plenty of money available in New Zealand. Unfortunately, much of it is invested in bank deposits. A lot of it's also been allocated away by fund managers and investors to other markets which they perceive might have greater growth options, notwithstanding the greater risk. That's herd mentality, a bit like the old adage, you don't get fired for hiring IBM. We need to have those funds freed up and allocated to New Zealand growth stories. We need to work together to promote an over-allocation of available funds to New Zealand. Australian investors can get access to global exposure simply by investing in Australian head office companies. BHP gives Australian investors global exposure. And why is that? It's because the local investment community has had the confidence to back the local companies and over-allocate to them. And the second order effects and benefits for the Australian economy have been very, very significant. It's built scale, local head offices, support industries and networks, and local infrastructure. People's judgment in general, and investors are no exception, are conditioned by prior experience. Perceptions of failure rate, the randomness of success, the comparison which each capital raising drives with the last one and the next one, all mean that brokers and investment advisors are fairly cautious before they'll put their names to a capital raise. It's easier to say no than it is to say yes, and even Jeff Ross, with his phenomenal success, wrote a book that has a name that conveys exactly that impression. So how do we deal with that? Well, we have to celebrate and recognise and publicise the successes. Recognise their common ingredients and use them. The more that investors can see that a proposition has a number of the ingredients of a prior success, the more likely they are to embrace the opportunity to invest. And what are some of those ingredients? People. At entrepreneur, management and governance level, people that investors have a reason to back. A management structure and governance disciplines that are appropriate. A fair balance between risk and reward. Skin in the game and an alignment of incentives. An idea that resonates, some early success. Scalability, born of a business that has a protective moat. And I guess the comfort of co-investors that are seen as knowing what they're doing. For the true, very early stage companies, there is no option really, but the angel network, government funding, friends and family. But the public capital markets provide real and early benefits and are hungry for opportunities. I'd like to think that there would be room for a fund, a listed fund, that co-invests with the angel network, the venture capital providers, and others with a track record management to provide a portfolio of investment options in the growth space. And the portfolio effect is important because it takes away the randomness of success. It spreads the compliance cost. Yep, it spreads the rewards and it spreads the risk. It also provides for shared learnings. Can I just finish with one thing, a quote from the 42 Below book, and apologies for any offence I'm sure it will cause. It is a quote. To reach our goal to be the most sought after super premium vodka in the world, we could raise private capital or we could go into debt with the bank. The former was ruled out because private investors try to rip your arms off, driving the valuation down when they invest. They have the annoying habit of telling you how to run your business on a daily basis. It is a quote. Bank debt was equally unappetising. We regarded the third option, listing on the stock exchange, as a great professional challenge. That's how I regard it. I regard it as an aspirational goal. We're here to help, and come talk to us. Thank you.